you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America. It's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Is this thing on? I guess it is. All right. Turn that off. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the... What the hell happened there? What the hell happened there? Oh, my God. That didn't work. I changed the thumbnail. Are all of them like this? No, that one's right. Okay, it's just this one. Well, what the hell? This is disappointing. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Kilroy, and also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where sometimes your face is bigger than everything on the page. Okay, Anyway, good morning. Hope you're having a great day. I am not, but it'll get better because I'm doing my show. Love the show. Love the people in the chat and whatnot. So that you guys are going to make my day better. I can't even look at you because I'm fixing this issue. Maybe. There. Let's try that. Hey, there we go. Anyway, it is Thursday, often called FTG Thursday, although we haven't really emphasized that lately. For those who are not experienced to this show, the FTG Thursday is, well, F, you know what that stands for, and that guy or that gal or that group or whatever, because sometimes we just got to say F it, but it's too early in the show for me to start swearing. But that's okay. We're going to do a show. We got, the other day we were talking about how Hillary Clinton was saying, oh, there's going to be an October surprise coming in. Obviously, what she called an October surprise, meaning that something, crappy about Kamala Harris would come out because she was referring to Donald Trump is going to try to cheat or do something nasty or whatever, like every frigging politician in the political realm does in October before an election. They try to get you a little gotcha, and before the election that you don't have time to, refute or rebut or whatever. And there's already one that's been put out, and that would be the order by Judge Chutkan in the January 6th case. And what's his face, Jack Smith. She allowed this brief to be made public that they're going to argue, supposedly going to argue in their trial, but really, essentially, what it is a hit piece on Donald Trump before the election to interfere with the election, and it's really it's pretty dirty the way they're doing this, because there's never ever been a time where they can put a foreshadowing brief before the court actually before the trial starts. So this is the way that they can put this out there, have all this evidence and words that Trump used that may just look bad. And a lot of people there's one line in particular in this so far that everyone's talking about, something about let them riot. Okay. Now we don't know the context of this. It's kind of like when Donald Trump used the word bloodbath. Jack Smith is writing a brief to argue before a jury in a court, right? So you're getting his side. But you don't have a context of where this came from. Could it be, if Nancy Pelosi doesn't get those 10,000, the National Guard's troops out there or more security out there, they're just going to let them riot? If it was that context, okay, that would tell me something. But anyway, so Jack Smith is putting the least charitable version of the case, because that's what he wants to do, win a case, although we still don't even know Jack Smith has been legally appointed. Apparently one judge has already said no, and that's probably going to go to the Supreme Court. There's got to be a whole bunch of stuff that's going to be coming through. But it seems like so far in October, everything's an October surprise. This hurricane relief, or I don't want to say lack thereof, because I know there's hard-working people out there. FEMA, there's a lot of volunteers. There's people doing stuff for these hurricane victims, especially in the, Western North Carolina and Eastern Tennessee, where it's just devastated, and they're finding people. There's hundreds. They already found over 100 people or know that 100 people dead. There's a lot of people missing in the mudslides and stuff, and there's people out there busting their nuts to help these people. And so I can't disparage them, but I can disparage some things that our government's doing, in the Biden and Harris administration. And it's similar to what happened with Maui too. And some people are angry because the idea that Americans, it's kind of an America last attitude, and I keep saying this, America first means you have to make sure that we're healthy first before we go out and help everybody else. But it seems that it's the opposite. Well, I'll get to it. I read a couple things today that got me fired the fuck up. Okay, now I'm swearing already. And it's very disappointing, and we'll get into it shortly. Also, I was going to tell you my Delta Airlines story with Lady Boomer and the purse she lost that got turned in, and somehow ended up going. Oh, I didn't even tell you the whole story. Well, I didn't tell you the follow-up story yet. So we assume somebody turned her purse in because we found her what do they call them? AirPods. The AirPod Pro, her earbuds that she has. Well, you can track those, and we found them tracking it. They were at the airport still on Monday, so we went to the airport, and we told you she went through all this rigmarole. They couldn't find them, right? And then the next day, she goes to track them, and they're at UPS, the building that I work in. And so I'm like, well, wait a minute. What are they doing at UPS? And I thought, well, maybe someone works at the airport and UPS and either stole them or somebody turned them in and they're shipping them somewhere, which I didn't understand because my wife spent an hour at the airport on Monday trying to get to a lost and found where they could see if it was there, and nobody could seem to figure out where they might be. And they were at the airport because the earbuds were there. So somebody turned in her purse. The earbuds were in the purse. They went to lost and found. So we figure out that they're at UPS, and I'm like, oh, well, I work there. I have a badge. I can go in and go take your phone, and I'll go track it myself. And so I get to UPS, and I find the little tracker thing, and I'm walking around UPS, and it's like, oh, weak signal. It means they are here somewhere. And I'm walking around, and I couldn't find him quite yet. So I went into one of the offices. I said, hey, where are the trucks that come from the airport? The whatever. And they said, oh, well, here's the truck number, and let's go check that. I get into the package car, and oh, you're within 20 feet. Oh, you're within 10 feet. Oh, you're within 3 feet, 1 feet, 2. I get to these 2 packages in the package car. They're getting ready to go outbound. But I look and I'm like, wait a minute. None of them are my. They're not going to my house. And because it was a purse. There was an ID in the purse, and her earbuds and her credit card and some cash and whatever. It's like, well, why wouldn't you just? If you see it's a Minnesota address, why would you just send them to that Minnesota address? No. And finally I go, wait a minute. I'm putting it close to these 2 packages. The 1 feet, 0 feet, and there it is. It's right here in this package. Now I can't open the package legally, so I didn't. But I'm like, oh, they're in that package. So I'm like, oh, well, and it's going to some place called Central Lost and Found in Scottsboro, Alabama. Scottsboro, Alabama. There's, and I don't know if it's the whole person. I don't know if it's the AirPods or what, but I have an assumption now, and I'm going to raise hell with Delta Airlines very publicly. So I'm like, okay, I'll call Delta 800 and see if I can figure this out. I call a Delta, and I'm trying to get permission to open this package to take our possessions out of this package, right? And I couldn't do that, so I had to do it via their text messaging system, and that was a big pain in the ass. Long story short, they couldn't give me permission, and so that they said, "Oh no, you'll have to contact the lost and found after after this package goes where it goes." I'm like, okay, not gonna open the package. I'm let it go to friggin' Alabama. And so then yesterday, my wife got on the phone with them and said, wait a minute. Now my stuff was here and you're sending it to Alabama. Oh, and we found out Central Lost and Found is not a Delta Airlines entity. Central, I think it's Central Lost and Found, is a company that if the airlines have something in their Lost and Found for too long, they send it to this place called Central Lost and Found, and Central Lost and Found sells everything that they have found after 30 days. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is not even, this is a separate company. This is a separate company. What, why would they be sending this company 24 hours after it got here? It should be in a Lost and Found here at the airport in case someone comes back to find their shit. Let's just say I'm furious right now. And what I'm figuring out, and here's what I'm figuring out. Whoever found that purse turned it into Delta Airlines. And, oh, by the way, the beauty of this, though, the label, the shipping label for the package going to Central Lost and Found in Scottsboro, Alabama, guess what? The person apparently has to put their name on the shipping label. It's from Delta Airlines. The return address is Delta Airlines, but it has the person's name who shipped it in the on the label. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the reason they have to put their name on the shipping label is because they track who sends them stuff and they get a slight kickback, is my guess. I'm not sure, but I'm guessing that's possibly it. So my guess is the purse, the small little purse, it's a nice little Coach purse. Coach, if you're women know that that's a cool brand. My guess is that it got turned in. The clerk who received it probably went through it, found an ID and said, fuck it, I want this purse. Didn't want the AirPods, probably knowing they could track AirPods, and probably sent them to Scottsboro, Alabama. That's my guess. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but there was some cash, there was credit card, there was ID. Because it would seem to me if you're at Delta Airlines and you get something that's going into your Lost and Found, especially a purse, there's an ID in it that identifies the owner, and that owner is in the same city as the airport you found it, you would think they would try to contact the person who owns the shit, not send it to Scottsboro, fucking Alabama. Can you tell I'm a little heated about this? Can you tell I'm a little heated about this? So my guess is yeah, but it is, someone said quite a little side hustle they got there, right? Yeah. I am so pissed off. But I took a picture of the shipping label. I know the name of the person who sent it. I know when we found it. I know when we were at the airport. And today there's going to be an interesting Twitter thread, X, the app formerly known as Twitter thread, referencing Delta Airline with their handle, because apparently sometimes the best way to deal with the airlines these days is to tweet negative shit about them with them in their named in the thread. But also we have to also call this company, because I even know the tracking number, and I know the tracking number, and I know how UPS works. And yesterday it was in Memphis, because this was Tuesday. It was in my town. Yet Wednesday, yesterday it was in Memphis. And in fact, not only we know from the UPS tracking, but also because her pads, whatever, the AirPods, are also still tracking because they were fully charged. So they will keep tracking as long as that package is en route, because that's how the AirPods work. Tells you exactly where it is. They'll give you a map of where it is. And so I am just, oh man, I'm telling you, I am hot about this. Forgot about the bell? I didn't forget about the bell. All right. Let's say hi to everybody and get the rest of the actual show started, because I know that this is not as exciting to you as the news. I know who's here first. Never mind. All right, let's go. Let's say hi to everybody and get this show on the road. First in the chat today is Mr. Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell. fact, I'm going to give you 2 bells because you had to wait so damn long. Also, good morning, Kara Soldier, Aaron Meredith in the house, Mike Savage, Blarg, Somnambul Nation is here. Good morning also to JB, Anand, 1, 2, 3, is here. Good morning, Maddie. Also, Green Badger Outdoors, my other favorite Canadian Unacceptable Views is here. Good morning. And Johnny Boomer Tech, obviously, manning the board over there. You know, there's no one named Johnny Boomer Tech. You know, I don't have anyone over there. I just like to say he's over there because then I can blame somebody else for my Boomer Tech. That's why his last name is Boomer Tech. Good morning, Roasted Opinion. Pretty sure that the Chutkan decision was a bad law. The redactions do not conceal the identities of the people named in the brief. I know, it's garbage. By the way, I should probably put a link to Robert Gouveia. He's going to be going over that today. He's one of my favorite people to watch about this legal stuff because he goes through briefs and stuff and pretty smart dude. So I might put a link to him if I can find one. Also, good morning to Rick Ashbringer's in the house. Ravon Harris, what's up? Good morning also to, who else is here? I'm scrolling. Is that everybody? Yeah, it can't be everybody. There's got to be more people here because I saw a number of people. Okay. Oh, Darren Roots in the house. Nice to have you here. GDSOB, what's up? I said JB. Willie won't is in the house. Scribe Light, Dog Thrapple. Hello, brother. My brother Scribe. And then I saw a name there a second ago. Where'd it go? There's a name I hadn't seen before. Oh, Noah Alex Asensio. How are you? Nice to have you here. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. And anyone else who happens to be lingering in the chat or wherever you're at, please enjoy the show. All right, here we go. Let's get into the news because there's a lot, and I'm not going to get to all of it because I yapped too much about my issue with Northwest. Oh, I almost said Northwest Airlines. That's who it used to be. Say, I've lived here a long time, and it used to be Northwest Airlines. It used to be based in the Twin Cities, but now it's Delta Airlines with their main home base in Atlanta and their pseudo half-assed home base here in the Twin Cities. So that's that. Thank you, by the way, to Somnambul Nation, Scribe Light, Jimmy Dots Hotep, and Swamp Fox Ghost, Maddie, and of course, Somnambul Nation, who tweets out the show every day. Please share the stream. Tell your friend, tell your neighbors, tell your mom. Because I may be as old as your mom. Good morning, Tex AG 007. And also, number 1 is in the house. Nice to have you. Oh, and Anna Lynn's here. So people are just rolling in. Hit the like button, share the stream, and all that shit. All right, let's get to it because we got some things to talk about. First, though, a sad note that I forgot to mention yesterday. The legendary actor John Amos has passed away. Very sad. This is a guy, basically, I grew up watching John Amos on many things, starting with the sitcom Good Times, where he played the father in a Chicago project family and always had wisdom. Now, his problem is, though, they did him dirty to get him off the show. I mean, I think he wanted more money or something, and they just basically killed his character off. But he played James Evan in Good Times. He's also in Roots. He's been in many he's also in Coming to America. He's the McDougal of McDougal's, the Scottish theme knockoff of McDonald's. So rest in peace, John Amos. Just one of those character actors that I grew up with and just always enjoyed whatever he was in. He's a great actor. He did some good dramatic. Yeah, he's a Beastmaster too. He did some good dramatic roles as well. But most his comedic roles were awesome. But James Evans, he did a little both. So anyway, rest in peace, John Amos. Also, I mentioned yesterday it was Jimmy Carter's 100th birthday. And that's still trending today. Apparently there's video of him at his 100th birthday party. And unfortunately, I'm not going to put it on the screen because I don't want to make a spectacle of it, but I do have it in the links. But people are saying this is something. Carolyn Downey saying this video is so painful for me to watch. My father looked like this days before his death. It was utter bodily deterioration. He was in a comatose state, and whether he's in hospice care right now. And I guess one of the things he was saying something about, he wanted to be alive long enough to vote for Kamala Harris, I guess. In fact, someone here said, I'm not going to put it on the screen, but there's a video, for whatever reason, of them celebrating his birthday, and he looks like he's already dead. I mean, he's not, but John Amos, died August 21st, but they just announced the other, John Amos? Okay. Yeah, Jimmy Carter's not dead yet. But someone said, he didn't care about that. It's just his birthday. He said he cared about voting for Kamala Harris. Carter's son said, according to the Washington Post. Why do you make your father's death about politics? I despise some of these people. Jimmy Carter, again. Oh, by the way, he's now too old to play with Legos because they're age 4 to 99. And so he can no longer play with Legos. Good morning, Don Julio, Commandant of Trash. An amazing disgrace is in the house. So anyway, he does not, it's the same way that my father-in-law looked before he died. I mean, I don't know why they even put out a video about it. Other people in the news, Jaguar Wright. Now, if you don't know who Jaguar Wright is, she's one of the people who can talk shit about Diddy and Jay-Z and all these other nasty people who are going to be named. Hello, Tyler F. What's up? Who are going to be named in some of this stuff going on with Diddy. And apparently there's going to be quite the celebrity list. It's going to be named according to the lawyers of people who are involved in this stuff. And it was going on for decades. And she was on Piers Morgan the other day. Let's give you a snippet of this because I usually don't give a crap about celebrity news. But this is as bad, is my opinion, as Jeffrey Epstein, as Harvey Weinstein, and all of Oprah's friends. Okay, it's as bad as all the rest of Oprah's friends because she had a thing with all of them. Anyway, here's Jaguar Wright on Piers Morgan talking about this shit.
Well, because the Me Too movement was a ruse. It was a setup. It was a scam. I'm saying that now, publicly. Dream Hampton spearheaded the Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which fueled the Me Too campaign.
Now listen to this. This is interesting.
And that was all funded by Sean Carter to make sure that...
Now, Sean Carter is Jay-Z, if you didn't know that. And this is all related to Diddy, okay? Now remember R. Kelly caught with the underage, the actual P tape, not the fake Trump one, but the R. Kelly actual P tape. And R. Kelly went to jail for some of this stuff with the underage girls. There's a little bit of a relationship with P. Diddy and Jay-Z.
Robert Kelly went to jail. Mm-hmm. Get his lick back. Why is nobody understanding that Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter? They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly. Mm-hmm. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see what's right there. If the Me Too movement were real, why aren't they speaking now? They've also been...
By the way, this is obviously they're talking about Jay-Z, and apparently Beyonce is involved in some of this shit, and it's all related, and all these names are about to come out because the lawyers charging Sean Combs, Diddy, said, "Oh no, we're not. It's not going to be like the Epstein thing. Every name's coming out. There's celebrities. There's record executives. There's CEOs of companies, they're going to name everybody. But anyway, I think it was Diddy in the champagne room with the Steely Dan dildo. You're right on. Josh Deedalation, how you doing?
Very quiet in this time of the diddler's downfall.
Oh, now is fight for your rights?
Jaguar,
Guess they on vacation.
if this goes to court, Jaguar, do you think the world is going to be shocked by?
I think it's funny that he calls her Jaguar, like the British pronunciation of Jaguar. Anyway,
By what comes out?
because you know that woman's name ain't Jaguar, it's Jaguar.
Oh, absolutely.
Good morning, Pfeiffer. All right.
I just don't know why they are. It's been happening in front of everyone's faces for decades.
They all knew. Decades. Lord, they knew, and some children too.
How many victims?
What's the difference between
Now
me
listen
and
to
Judy
this part.
Garland?
Listen to this
Social
part.
media.
How many victims?
There was none for her.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well.
Yeah, his wife is who? Beyonce. All right, I'll let this go because this goes on for a little while, and I don't want to spend the whole time on this. But she's talking. Jaguar writers revealed chilling details about Diddy's notorious freak-off parties, claiming sex workers wore hidden cameras to capture disturbing satanic rituals. According to Wright, young girls were stuffed into suitcases and later discarded in alleyways. She also implicated Jay-Z, saying he has hundreds of victims ready to come forward, and connected him to a sinister web that ties together Diddy, Harvey Weinstein, and Jeffrey Epstein. Wright further claimed that Diddy was a product of music mogul Clive Davis and Lucian Grange, huge names in the industry, who taught him everything he knows. So there's another section here. You can watch these yourself, but oh my goodness, yes, it deletes a da da da. Moving on. Temporary is trending now. I thought originally it had something to do with well, here, look, because it had something to do with the hurricane. So there's a pilot who was told that he was going to be arrested for helping hurricane victims. This is the top one right here. So after the hurricane, a pilot and his son were trying to help people who were stranded due to the flooding and destruction. They saved multiple people on Saturday. On Sunday morning, there was no temporary flight restriction in place, so the two of them went out again to continue rescuing. They found a stranded couple and decided that it would be safe to take them down one at off the mountain, one at a time, leaving his son, the co-pilot, with the husband and taking the woman down first. He then found some emergency personnel and landed by them. One of the firefighters started to help, but then a fire chief came and told him that if he didn't stop trying to go up the mountain to save people, he would be arrested. The reason given for this was that the pilot was interfering with the fire chief's operation, even though there were no TFRs in place. He was told if he went back to save his son, he would be arrested. He went back anyway, got his son, but ended up having to leave the husband of the woman they had brought to safety, who is now separated from his wife and stranded on the mountain. How does it make any sense? There's a 6-minute report. That's why you had to read it. Which is fucked up. I'm sorry. He saved some people. Let him be. Now, also, let's see. Ron DeSantis. Again, this is the temporary trending topic, I guess. Ron DeSantis says we have dispatched. I was wondering why did it say never mind. We have dispatched a convoy by Florida DOT staff and heavy equipment, including 7,500 feet of temporary bridges to North Carolina to help with damage assessment and roadway repairs. So again, state of Florida is not only helping Floridians, they're helping people in North Carolina and Eastern Tennessee. Good for him. So anyway, that isn't the real main reason that temporary is trending. Some people are upset with Donald Trump Because yesterday, Donald Trump said he plans to revoke TPS for Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio, and probably not just them, probably some others, right? And there's some people who thought, well, this is terrible. And listen, here is, I'll give you a couple examples. Here's Aaron Rupar, the little jerk boy, whatever, journalist who is now independent, I guess. He says, and there it is. Trump's mass deportation will include legal immigrants. Oh, no! Hold up. Hey, they're sort of not really legal. Hold up. Hey. The T in TPS, what does that stand for? Temporary, right? Temporary. Trump says he would revoke the temporary protective status of Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio. Now, these Haitian migrants that were given temporary legal status, are they legal immigrants? Because Aaron Rupar says they're legal immigrants. The answer is no, they are not. Most of these Haitian immigrants crossed the border illegally like everyone else. And then they were given temporary, keyword temporary, legal status by the Biden-Harris administration. And so when you get temporary legal, they're refugees, but most of them are still across the border illegally. But temporary protected status just means, hey, no, we're not going to continue your temporary protected status. It's time to go back home. Go fix your country, I guess. So here's I guess this is the part, the 14 seconds they keep playing.
Springfield is such a beautiful place. Have you seen what's happened to it? It's been overrun. You can't do that to people. They have to be removed.
So you would revoke the temporary protected status?
Absolutely. I'd revoke it and I'd bring them back to their country.
So people are upset about that. And in fact, Kamala Harris also, Kamala wins. It's not necessarily Kamala Harris's account. Breaking in a stunning announcement, Donald Trump just announced that he would revoke the protected status of Haitian migrants. Migrants? That's another interesting. See, they want to make it sound like, oh, these poor migrants. In Ohio, legally, the protected status of Haitian migrants in Ohio legally. The only reason they're in Ohio legally is because the United States has granted them temporary protected status. Now, what these people are doing when they say this, they're admitting that this isn't really temporary. That's what they're saying the quiet part out loud when they do this, because they're demoting the fact that, oh, well, wait a minute. Are you saying you cannot revoke temporary protected status? Do you mean that because the word temporary doesn't mean anything? So that's why the word temporary is trending. Moving on. FEMA is trending again, back to the destruction and devastation in western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee and Florida, whatever. It's interesting. Most of the news is about that, the Appalachian area that has just been devastated. Someone here says, this is Sean Davis, text from a doctor friend whose family lives in a tiny mountain town in north of Asheville that's been destroyed by flooding, says people are getting insulin by donkey and FEMA's response is $750 and wait for 3 weeks. So just like in Maui, I want to find the Kamala Harris clip. Somewhere there's a Kamala Harris clip talking about how they're going to give them $750. Okay. They're going to give them $750 just like they did in Maui, right? By the way, Maui's trending too. And so the 750 is trending. Here it is. Here's this clip. Here's Kamala Harris talking about what they're doing in Maui, or excuse me, in the Appalachia.
And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met, such as food, baby formula, and the like. And you can apply now for anyone who's watching this who has been affected. There are FEMA personnel who are going door to door to interact personally with folks, especially those who do not have electricity. But also that aid, if you have electricity, can be applied for online.
Yeah, but $750 is useless here. There's nothing up. No, you can just run down to the Piggly Wiggly or the Kroger and go pick up some diapers and formula. That's going to help them, man. And look, the people of Hawaii, I don't think they ever got any more than $750. I'm curious. You know, we never really heard much about Maui after that disaster. And I know there's tons of land speculators going into Maui in that area that with the burnt, got the fire devastated. And remember, Maui was also, that area of Maui are local, like mostly native Hawaiians or people who've lived there for years and years and years, who vowed not to sell out to any resorts, vowed not to sell out to any big corporations or whatever. And that's also the place where they were talking about, oh, we want to build a smart city. Let's do an experimental smart city. But no one in that area would sell, right? And so now, after all the devastation, people are going in there and trying to buy their land. Well, you know what's happening in, what in this area of the Appalachians now, a lot of conspiracy theories talking about, oh, somebody steered the storm that way. There is apparently giant lithium deposits under this land where this devastation is. So that's fan-fucking-tastic. So anyway, people talking about the 750. Here's another one. In almost 1 week, the Biden-Harris administration approved $8.7 billion in military aid for Israel, $8 billion in military aid for Ukraine, $567 million in military support for Taiwan, and $750 one-time emergency assistance payment for the American victims of Hurricane Helene. Let that sink in. Now, is that all? I mean, obviously they're getting logistical help. They're getting, help from volunteers and whatnot. But it's really weird that, we've been giving, I'm in New York, I think $10,000 worth of assistance, I think a month for some of the migrants that are being shipped to New York City, giving them cash cards, and they're paying for their housing and they're paying for their food. And Springfield, like I said, someone's asking, well, how does the illegal immigration, occurrence cause the price of housing to go up? We talked about that. And Springfield, Ohio is a great example. In Springfield, Ohio, you got all these Haitian migrants that are on temporary protected status, and the United States government and state agencies and NGOs or whatever are footing the bill for them. So they're paying for their housing. And when the government's paying for the housing, you damn right you go to get a check. You ever heard of people who specialize in Section 8 rental properties? The reason people like to do Section 8 rental properties is because the government pays you. And the government you get that check on the first, you get the deposit on the first of the month, every month. And what they're doing in Springfield is when people's leases are up in Springfield, they're evicting them. And if you're getting $600 a month for a property, but with the Haitian migrants, you can sell them a room for $600. So if you have, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in a room, or renting rooms in your rental property, that place you got $600 a month for, now you're getting $2,400 a month for. Well, what does that do? That jacks up all the rents, because if you're a landlord, what would you want? $600 a month or $2,400 a month for renting out 4 rooms? And guess who pays for it? The federal government. You don't even have to worry about getting your check. So now you got this situation in Appalachia where they're going to give a one-time $750 emergency assistance. People lost their homes, people lost their cars, people lost their businesses, people lost everything. Here, let us give you $750. Now, I am. Granted, there are a lot of people out here that are willing to help. There's people. I'm seeing stories of people in need, and they're like, just thousands of volunteers going there to help, and that's great. That's the American spirit. But this $750 a month, does that sound like America first to you? Does that sound like we're taking care of Americans? It's kind of like with the veterans. It's kind of like with the homeless people. It's just like, yes, we paid, in other words, Amazing Disgrace, exactly. Spruce Pine is the town? Oh, I don't know. Okay. The town in North Carolina has a certain type of quartz used in semiconductors. They make a majority of the world's supply. And is that one of the towns too that got devastated? So anyway, and now I guess there's, the land speculators are probably moving in a little bit because, this is apparently they found an enormous lithium deposit in this part of the country. And that's why you're getting the conspiracy theory about conspiracy theories about people being able to manipulate storms to go where they want. Now, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying the Dr. Evil stuff, but By the way, today's coffee is brought to you by the USS Arizona. Just FYI, in case you care. Also in that area, politicians are hindering the rescue efforts, apparently, in North Carolina. The devastation that Tropical Storm Helene inflicted on Western North Carolina is still heartbreaking. Several days after the storm has passed, countless North Carolinians are stranded in the mountains and valleys of that part of the state, many of them without medications or other things they need to survive. Towns and cities like Asheville are dealing with widespread damage and power outages. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park has several roads and trail closures, even as US 441, the main highway between Cherokee and Gatlinburg, or Pigeon Forge, or Seaverville, remains open and passable. It's hard to describe how difficult people in North Carolina have it, but this Facebook post explains some of it. So this is someone who says, I'm not even close to being able to tell the story of the last 5 days in Swannanoa, something like that. What I will say is people who are not in the hardest hit areas of Western North Carolina is that there are still huge gaps in communication, and many of the worst things that happen have probably not been reported or even understood yet. People are sharing firsthand accounts in person or by text that make it clear to me that they're, here, let's see, let's open this. Oh my goodness, this is a long thread. Well, here we go. First-hand accounts in person or by text that make it clear to me that there are still many fatalities that have not been discovered or confirmed. I've personally spoken to people who have dug up living and dead people out of a mudslide, so both living and dead people, seen their neighbors swept away by water, and seen bodies that haven't been able to be recovered. We've heard stories from Montreat, Grovemont, Beacon Village, Botany Woods. These areas are miles apart from each other, and each place really different from the others. A child told me he saw 3 houses slide down a slope into his neighborhood. Friends had to claw their way to safety with their 7-year-old while their neighbors died in the river below them. And that's only what we've managed to glean about places here in Swannanoa Valley from communicating with people we know and are directly encountering. It looks like there are multiple other parts of the region horribly hard hit. Marshall, Chimney Rock, there's nothing there. Silo, maybe. Places that haven't yet reached in Transylvania County. Haywood. So many roads blown out, and who knows what's on the other side. My sister and I each heard from nurse friends who have been working in different hospitals 50 miles apart that it's like a war zone. As internet connections have returned, we are seeing pictures of whole neighborhoods submerged, no doubt with residents in their homes. We don't even begin to know the full extent of this yet. Western North Carolina is full of creeks, rivers, gullies, and all manner of flowing water. Roads and neighborhoods are often called whatever creek, Haw Creek, Bent Creek, Garin Creek, Cap Creek, to name a few in Buncombe County. Communities are often named after the river that flows through them, like South Toe in Yancey or Tuckasegee in Jackson County. We have hollers and steep coves. We have steep terrain and windy 2-lane or 1-lane roads. Here, many people live in trailers. Houses and trailers are often down at the end of a road or tucked in a cove or in a neighborhood along a creek, river, or down at the bottom of a valley or on a slope. Towns were built along rivers and neighborhoods tucked in here and there as towns and tucked in here and there as towns and communities grew. Realtors highlight Bold Creek in home listings as a selling point. Trailer parks are often near creeks or rivers. Many houses and roads are near streams and creeks and rivers. Sometimes things flood here. Certainly we've had our share of flood struggles during the last 15 years. I lived in a small farm in River Valley. But this event was nothing we would have ever thought possible. Our neighborhood and the whole Swannanoa Valley is in a purple zone of this map where the chance of getting this amount of rainfall in 48 hours was once in 1,000 years, which maybe means no one's ever seen anything like that, and there's no precedent in history. Streets, neighborhoods, places have been wiped off the map. People had no chance to escape. Schools are closed indefinitely. People are not even close to being able to go to work. We are focused on food, water, medication, transportation, hygiene. Who is alive? Who is missing? Who is dead? I feel like we are very much still in triage and cleanup hasn't even really begun. Please keep paying attention and drawing attention if you are not from here. This is going to be a long haul. I'm so profoundly grateful for community and the way people are showing up for each other here. How can we find a way through this unfathomable experience? So, Godspeed to these people, man. Godspeed. Whew. Tough to read, and I can't imagine what it's like. So anyway, yeah, and we don't know that FEMA's doing their thing. I mean, I got to think that the people who work for FEMA, who, not just the government people, the bureaucracy people, fuck them. I think the people of FEMA are the people, just the rank and file people who work there are probably doing God's work, but it's tough when your leadership sucks. Speaking of leadership, Alejandro Mayorkas has apparently chimed in. Someone says, Greg Abbott says, this is easy. Mayorkas and FEMA immediately stop spending money on illegal immigration resettlement and redirect those funds to areas hit by the hurricane. Here's part of the problem with FEMA too. Apparently they're they have millions of dollars in fund and people and resources going toward the relocation of, I'm going to say it, illegal immigrants. Mayorkas is warning us that FEMA doesn't have enough funding to last through the hurricane season. Well, so in other words, FEMA's broke. Well, why? Because they gave over $380 million to illegal immigrants and human trafficking non-government organizations. Here it is. McAllen, Texas, the Department of Homeland Security has distributed millions of dollars to nonprofits and communities that assist the migrants the agency releases, despite previous concerns about how some of those funds are being used. DHS on Wednesday announced the allocation of over $380 million to various entities nationwide through the agency's Shelter and Service Program. The program is administered by the Federal Emergency Management Agency. That's what that's called. That's FEMA, in partnership with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Government does not have the funds if another hurricane hits, says Mayorkas. Well, we're sure to send a shit ton to Ukraine. Here's what he says. We are meeting the immediate needs with the money we have, and we are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, does not have the funds to make it through the season. He says it's not a political issue and that there must be funding to deal with future events. These extreme weather events are increasing in frequency and severity, Mayorkas said. Really? But you had $338 million to and the ability to refocus people from FEMA to relocate illegal immigrants. That's fucking fascinating. Yeah, heck of a job, Brownie. Yeah, no doubt. Heck of a job, Mayorkas. They have billions for illegal fake refugees flooding into the country to provide free hotels, free food, free healthcare, free cash, and free cell phones. I'll get an Obama phone. So, let's see. A lot of people talking about Mayorkas. So, FTG Alejandro Mayorkas. He can go fuck right off. All right, moving on. By the way, Maui's trending because people are comparing the situation in Appalachia to what happened in Maui. In fact, here's what's this lady saying. This lady says what's happening to the victims of North Carolina is similar to what happened in Maui. In Asheville, North Carolina, people are reporting nonstop offers to sell their property for cash. At the same time, there's only one way in and one way out. On top of that, trucks carrying aid and supplies are getting their tires slashed, so they can't even get through. Who's slashing the tires of people bringing in aid on trucks? What the fuck? Look at what happened in Maui. Residents there were pressured to sell land after the fires, and now Asheville is going through the same twisted playbook. Why? Because North Carolina isn't just sitting on regular land. No, it's sitting on gold, the richest supply of lithium in the world for batteries, and the purest quartz for the $530 billion microchip industry and all that. It's right under the area being hit. So let's see. This is only 30 seconds. Let's listen to this lady.
In Asheville, North Carolina, people are reporting nonstop
it's
offers
the same
to
thing.
sell their property for cash.
Okay, it's the same thing I just said, so I'm not going to play it. Whether you hear it from her voice or mine, it's the same words. So that's fucked up. Let's see. Anything else? Yeah, this is just everyone's comparing it to Maui. Yeah, here's the meme of the day for that one. Sorry, we're out of money. I can't help. Good luck. That's kind of that's harsh, Benno Garrison. Somebody in the White House is not happy about that editorial cartoon. Thank you, Avocados Diabli, for a sponsor today, which means you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, AD. Dropping a small bullet in the tip jar, who says, AD says, one bright spot in this whole thing, the Asheville area is the most popular winter training ground for bicyclists because of the elevated mountain roads. Maybe I won't have to deal with that shit this year. I'm assuming you mean the cyclist. You don't know how to deal with the cyclist, AD. I'm a cyclist, but I'm one of those cyclists who actually follows the rules of the road, and I never really get cars pissed off at me, except when but the thing is, even if you ride correctly on the road, sometimes people just don't like cyclists. But anyway, I got you there. Hello, Rodline. What's up? I know you were here. I saw you, and also Selected Boys in the house.
Yeah, boy.
Good morning. Okay, and Linda Hunter. What up, lady? Nice to have you. So anyway, that's that. Speaking of budgets and not being able to find money, I found this one fascinating too. So apparently the last couple Trump rallies, they've had to move them to smaller venues. And not because people aren't still signing up to go to Trump rallies. They still get standing only crowds. But the Secret Service has said that, well, we don't have enough people to protect the former President Trump at some of these rallies, so we've got to go to smaller venues. And so here is an article in the Daily Call I found humorous. Despite skyrocketing budgets, Secret Service can't seem to find the money to protect the president. The U.S. Secret Service budget has increased by nearly $1 billion since 2014, but only $200 million of that has gone to protective operations, according to the agency budget. Wait a minute. What is their mission? Their mission is protective operations. Well, where's that money going? I'm just curious. The agency, which is set to get an additional $231 million in funding from Speaker Mike Johnson's government funding bill, appears to have funneled more resources into administrative personnel than into protective operations, according to budget documents. So they're having more middle managers? Is that what they're doing? The agency's total approved budget for the fiscal year of 2024 is just under $2.8 billion with a B dollars, according to the Department of Homeland Security budget document. Approximately $1.15 billion of that was allocated for protective operations. That's up from $1.8 billion total budget in 2014, according to NBC News. Of that $1.8 billion, $924 million went to protection, according to a 2014 DHS budget. The relatively small increase in protection funds, less than $200 million, is dwarfed by the total budget increase, much of which has gone to line items like professional development, professional training programs, and human capital strategic plan growth. Probably making sure that they make sure you call trans people by their right pronouns. Which had a $42 million outlay in the Secret Service's 2023 budget. The agency also over $200 million on headquarters management and administration in 2024. That line item includes 391 employees. According to the budget, they spent an additional $600 million on mission support, which had 904 employees. The agency executives, meanwhile, have pinned their recent failures to high-profile assassination attempts on former President Donald Trump on a lack of resources. Yeah, human resources, you jagoffs. Sorry, I don't know. Is that a swear word? Does anyone know? Because I know a lot of people from Chicago use that word jagoff, which I've always wondered if that's technically a swear word or not, or is that just something to call somebody that's rude? I don't know. Anyway, we have quote. This is a quote. We have finite resources, and we are stretching those resources to their maximum right now, which is going to require us to replace these assets. Secret Service Acting Director Ronald L. Rowe Jr. said in a September 20 press conference. Despite the modest increase in protection dollars, the total number of employees on protective detail has actually decreased by over 300 from 2014 to 2024. So they have 300 fewer employees. So all that additional cash that actually went into protective resources basically just went into raising the salaries of fewer employees. That's crazy. So anyway, that's how the budget uses money. Moving on, the vice presidential debate is still a hot topic. A lot of people talking about various aspects of it, including J.D. Vance, who's also still trending. Ben Shapiro. Here's Ben Shapiro on. I'm not putting 16 minutes of. I'm not gonna put 16 minutes of Ben Shapiro on my channel because I just really don't think that I should do that. Now, I'm not going to. I refuse. Even though he's there on my screen. Why? He says J.D. Vance absolutely crushed Tim Walz last night. He was articulate, coherent, calm, and collected, the best debate performance of the modern era. And right about now, Kamala Harris is wishing she'd chosen Josh Shapiro. Well, yeah, Josh Shapiro is pretty polished, but I still don't give Governor Walz any excuse for that. The idea that J.D. Vance has more experience debating than Tim Walz, who's a 6-time congressman and 2-term governor, versus J.D. Vance, this is his first term as a senator. Whatever. People are also still talking about the moderators who tried to hide the truth about Kamala's app for illegal aliens, but J.D. Vance fact-checked him on national TV. Yep. Also here in Breitbart, debate reviews, media elite admit J.D. Vance's performance was spectacular. Members of the media acknowledged after Tuesday's debate that presidential nominee J.D. Vance of Ohio was the undisputed champion of the world. No, of the showdown with Vice President nominee Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Heading into the debate, media members appeared to believe Vance would perform well, considering his experience of winning and bruising Senate Republican primary in 2022. Vance's performance fulfilled their expectations. Vance, this is a New York Times headline. Vance's dominant debate performance shows why he's Trump's running mate. Ross Duhat titled a New York Times column. In the Washington Post, let's see. I'll just read. This is for the Washington Post. Listen to this. Among the 12 voters who leaned toward former President Donald Trump and Vance before the debate, 5 said they would definitely vote for Trump afterwards. 7 said they would still probably vote for Trump. And among 9 voters who leaned toward Vice President Kamala Harris and Walz before the debate, 6 said they would definitely support Harris after the debate. 2 said they would probably vote for Harris. 1 switched to probably backing Trump. Uh-oh. Finally, among the 2 voters who were undecided before the debate, 1 said they would probably vote for Harris, and 1 said they would vote for a third-party candidate. Well, that's great. The CNN debate panel acknowledged that Vance landed several devastating blows to Harris during the debate, leaving Walz unable to respond. Dana Bash, when J.D. Vance said one of the many, many things he really hit Kamala Harris on, not Tim Walz, but Kamala Harris, he didn't respond because he clearly had things in his mind. Okay, whatever. I don't even know what that means. Anyway, it seems the consensus around most places is that J.D. Vance won the debate. And in fact, same with the foreign media. Foreign media unanimous that Vance won the debate. Where's this? Who they got here? BBC, not the good kind. Stop it. Stop it! The BBC said Vance probably won the debate, calling the Republican a polished public speaker, halting and Walz halting and unsure. Ooh, you don't want to be heard that. The Times of London, Britain's de facto newspaper of record, gave the nod to Vance in 2 analyses of the debate. The first, by New York correspondent Will Pavia, is the more damning, describing how the Nebraska-born Democrat looked staggered, distinctly uncomfortable, and confused Israel and Iran out of the gate. He kept halting mid-sentence. I wondered if the television was frozen. There was enough time to check before he started talking again, Pavia wrote. Senator Vance, by contrast, was praised for coming off as affable and sympathetic, appearing moments to even win over Governor Walz. So there you go. So they have a few other foreign entities talking about that. And then there's an article in Issues and Insights talking about how Vance flipped the script on probably the weird thing, you know? That's what I say. If you were watching that debate, okay, and you heard this thing about, oh, Vance is weird and Walz is the one who came up with that idea, after that debate, who would you think was weird? Just by watching them interact, and Governor Walz's weird faces during the entire debate, and the deer in the headlights look, and the bugging eyes, and the mean, angry look when he was looking to his left, whereas J.D. Vance looks so comfortable. Who was weird? Clearly it was Tim Walz. But anyway, you can read that one on your own, because I got to get to the main topic. But other things related to the debate that are still trending. Tiananmen Square with the Babylon Bee throws out a funny here. Walz clarifies he meant the Tiananmen Square Chinese buffet in Omaha, Nebraska. Because remember, he said there was a tape of a video of him in the past saying that he was in China or in Hong Kong in May during the protests at Tiananmen Square. And he specifically said May. He didn't say spring. He didn't say, the year of. He said he was there in May while the protest in Tiananmen Square was going on, when the shit happened. And the Minnesota Public Radio says, no, Tim, you were in Hong Kong in August, long after that was over. Well, apparently he's still trying to get his story straight. Listen to this.
Yeah, look, I have my dates wrong. I was in Hong Kong in China in 1989.
You had your dates wrong.
That move from Hong Kong into China, it was profound for me. That was the summer of democracy. I said it's where I understood.
Excuse me? Oh, by the way, it's kind of weird too. So he traveled China some 30 times to learn about how to run government. Wait a minute. That's messed up.
How sacred democracy was. It's what encouraged me about 15 back and forth with my students, taking them to China to understand both, first of all, the culture, but also to teach Chinese students about democracy. That was part of the first group of high school students. There weren't a lot of times there were high school teachers in there that you could teach in a Chinese.
But when were you there? And why did you say you were there during the protests? That's the question. You keep answering. Is that Fetterman? It looks. Oh, it kind of looks like Fetterman, doesn't it? Well, he's in Pennsylvania, so that's Fetterman back there.
Chinese high school. And so you've seen me. These teachers see me. I speak like everybody else speaks.
What? In lies and deception? Is that what you meant? I speak like everybody else speaks. I just lie like everybody else. Okay, yeah. You weren't there during the protests.
I need to be clear. I will tell you that.
Is that Fetterman laughing at him?
Point on that thing with China. I do understand China a hell of a lot better than Donald Trump.
Do you? Really? On what basis do you understand him better than Donald Trump? Donald Trump's been there a few times too. Donald Trump does business in China. Really? I'm curious. You say that, but why? Just because you were there 30 times as a teacher? You may know people in certain areas of China as well, but what makes you think you know China better?
Kamala Harris understands China. I will tell you this.
How does Kamala Harris understand China? Why? Why would she understand China? I don't know.
Xi Jinping is not someone you should look up to. Xi Jinping is not someone who you should say does a good job on things, as Donald Trump has said about COVID.
Now, this is interesting, too. Look, all world leaders like to be praised for shit, and sometimes you got to say shit to get them to do the shit you want. But I don't understand. So now you're saying he should not be looked up to, and if you become the vice president of the United States, are you going to look up to him then? Because you certainly look up to China itself. I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical.
And my point on this was Donald Trump got played on a trade war. He created the largest deficit with China in American history, and he cost us 150,000 jobs. So my clarity to take away from the message is something I want to be very clear.
Citation needed.
August of '89 into Hong Kong, into China, 15 times was
not during but not during Tiananmen Square, like you said, on the camera, on a microphone. Get your story straight, Tim. Get your story straight. Okay, so that's still trending. Also, China in general is trending.
China is asshole.
So now, and it's related to a couple different things. Now, this is about illegal immigration. Lily Tang Williams says, U.S. government keeps 5 million legal immigrants waiting in line for over a decade with sponsors, but let illegals come here in 5 minutes. This is outrageous. My brother waited 13 years in China. This is a slap in the face to the people who follow our laws. So that's, this is funny too. This is we're definitely looking at this one. It's a minute 35. This is a guy who, the CPB1 app that the illegal border crossers use, and now they just send it. Now it's funny because now they don't even have to come and cross the border illegally to use this. They'll just send it out to people and they can apply, and then they'll come fly them into the country. So this guy did a little test on how the CPB app works. So here it goes. This is pretty good, actually. You got to watch this.
After watching that vice presidential debate last night, I was curious just how easy that CBP1 app was to use. So I downloaded it.
So once you create an account from the main page, you just have to choose if you're the smuggler or the smugglee. Then you just got to fill in basic info, first name, last name, all the basics. I don't know my gender yet. I'm still figuring that out. Now it's time to take a selfie, and passport or any identification is also optional. Then it asks you which state you're headed to. I said I didn't know the address. I didn't know the city. I just chose California, and then I added the first zip code that Google gave me for California. And that's it. I'm good to go.
It does let you choose
Ask for an
between
appointment
like
every
8
day.
different bridges to meet under. I chose the Eagle Pass bridge to meet under. I just have to
So
wait.
you use this app, and if you're crossing the border illegally, you just got to tell them what bridge you want to meet them under, and they'll process you. Using this app they give you, on the phone they give you. Or if you have the phone and you're in, I don't know, Sierra Leone, and you want to use this app, they'll find a way to get you there. It's unbelievable. So now they're saying, and there's other people who are saying that if you use this app now, you're here legally because you didn't have to cross the border illegally, because they flew you here after you use this app seeking that word you have to know. What's that? Okay, class, what's the word you have to know to be processed into the U.S.? There's one single word. I say it all the time. Type it in the chat. I want to see it. All right, we'll see if you actually do that. I'm going to move on though. Iran is trending because they attacked Israel and whatnot. And this is interesting because Biden, who removed Trump's sanction on Iran, now wants sanctions on Iran. So, okay, y'all got it. Hey, Cyclone, asylum. Okay, you got it. Asylum. Now, remember Trump had the sanctions on Iran? Well, guess what? Guess what Joseph Rahim Biden wants on Iran right now?
Obviously, Iran has gone way has way off course. We're going to put together a joint statement. Hasn't been done yet. It'll be done before too long, probably by the time we land. And there's going to be some sanctions imposed on Iran.
They're going to impose sanctions on Iran now. Brilliant. Fucking brilliant. Anyway, I'm going to skip some of these topics. Liz Cheney's trending. Everyone's favorite conservative Republican who lost her seat in the primary by 60%. Liz Cheney is going to go and campaign with Kamala Harris. Where? At Ripon College in northern Wisconsin, which is the birthplace of the Republican Party. Good morning from Ripon, Wisconsin, birthplace of the GOP. Vice President Kamala Harris will be speaking here this evening as she continues to campaign in areas Democrats traditionally don't. And good old Liz Cheney is going to be campaigning with her. Liz Cheney also endorsed Ted Cruz's opponent in Texas. So basically, she's gone all in for Democrats. She is going straight. She's going all in for Democrats. Bitter has been. Liz Cheney goes all in for radical far left Democrat running against conservatives, against conservative Ted Cruz. It would be hard to find a more bitter, washed up politician has been than Liz Cheney. Oh, that's very accurate. FTG to Liz Cheney. Let's see. I already got that. That's Ripon College was trending. Also, Cassidy Hutchinson. Remember the gal who lied about the limousine ride that Donald Trump supposedly reached over the seats and grabbed the wheel of the limousine while they were en route because he wanted to go to the White House, which nobody corroborated. So, and then this person, she was on MSNBC with Lawrence O'Donnell. But here's someone who's mad at her. Cassidy Hutchinson lies again. I'm absolutely done with this nonsense. This woman has had the nerve to pretend to be conservative, to act like she supported Trump, and now she's pulling the ultimate BS flip-flop. Are you serious, Cassidy? You lied about Trump on January 6th, tried to smear his name with your pathetic lies, and now you're saying you won't support him because of his character? Please. Okay, let's see. Let's see what she says on Lawrence O'Donnell. Which, look, if you see the words MSNBC in the corner, you kind of already know what's going to happen. Although we do have one instance where you're going to be surprised. Here you go.
much in your book that we should be discussing, the evidence in that book and your experience and what you went through. I thought that was more important. And the question of how you're going to vote would take focus off of that. I also sensed, I may be wrong, that that was not something you were really ready to talk about. November's coming very quickly. We've heard Liz Cheney go out there and go all the way from opposition to Donald Trump to now actively saying, yes, you have to, she believes the right vote is actually to vote for Kamala Harris. Where is your thinking on how you're going to vote?
It's more of a rambling fucking question. Can you ask Lawrence?
I've known for quite a long time, number one, that I would never in my life vote for Donald Trump ever
That you made
again.
clear. That you did make clear. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you
whatever.
for acknowledging
Even
that.
though you lied about him.
I have also known for a long time whether the nominee was at one point going to be Joe Biden, now Kamala Harris, that I was going to cast my vote for either candidate, now Kamala Harris and Tim Walz.
Okay, so you have no principles.
In my personal view.
That's, a lot of things, these people who claim to be conservative and, the idea that Donald Trump's a threat to democracy is just bullshit. We have a system that really won't allow the things you're claiming he's going to do. And, that's why we have 3 branches of government and checks and balances. And even then, we've already seen him as president. He stayed within the bounds of his, constitutional duties. And anytime he got over, if something he did got, went to the courts and wasn't successful, did he do them anyway like Joe Biden? No, he abided by the decisions and worked within the framework that he had. Now, and look, I've said it many times, I am not a fan of Donald Trump's personality whatsoever, but he did the things he said he was going to do, and they were basically Republican things. Not everything, but basically Republican things that I've been wanting politicians to do since the first time I voted in 1984. So I'm like, I'm not voting for a personality. I'm voting for results. And so I don't believe that she is, I don't know if she's sincere or not. So these are the people who hate. Other people who or don't like Donald Trump. People who like Donald Trump are also turning. Scott Walker, who's said, we are long over January 6th. Walz and the moderators are obsessed while most Americans are focused on issues related to high prices, border security, public safety, and free speech. They are tone deaf, unless you're in the political class. The political class wants you to think that January 6th was the worst thing since the Civil War. And look, it was a riot and it was shitty, but it was not. If you think January 6th was worse than any of the BLM riots, if you think January 6th was worse than the siege of the Portland federal courthouse, if you think January 6th was worse than May 29th when they tried to breach the White House, they're all the same thing to me. And it was wrong, and the people who did damage or did violence or whatever, they should be prosecuted. But you've gone overboard treating this like this was a foreign government that came in and tried to, bomb like it was Canada in 1812. Hello, Blue-Eyed Scream. What's up? So I don't know. And it's funny because someone's talking about how she has this coalition from Bernie Sanders to Dick Cheney to Taylor Swift. That was, what Tim Walz said. Is that the political coalition that we're looking for? Bernie Sanders, Dick Cheney, and Taylor fucking Swift? You might have lost votes in that part of the debate. I didn't do that yesterday, but whatever. Thank you, Avocados Diablos. Another small bullet in the tip jar. AD says, this Cassidy lady isn't showing enough cleavage to be worth listening to. Why is she talking? Okay, daily sexism is checked off the to-do list. There you go. Thank you. I was wondering who was going to check that off today. All right, I'm going to skip over a couple things because the main topic is this. I can't skip this next one. Peter Navarro and Gordon Sondland are trending because of an appearance they did on MSNBC. Now, this was a little bit unexpected. And I'm only going to show you the clip here because MSNBC host Ari Melber is shocked to learn live on air that an anti-Trump key witness in the impeachment inquiry, Gordon Sondland, will now be voting for President Trump in November. Oh, no!
This January 6th conduct, and do you stand by that?
This is not what they were expecting.
No, I don't stand by it, and I'll tell you why. I've now lived 4 years under the Biden-Harris policies, and I have to say that those policies are not only becoming an existential threat to our country's way of life, but to our allies as well.
So when you Ambassador, I'll let you finish, but this is so striking. You said it was a no for me after that, after January 6th.
I did.
And here we are right now.
I did.
And you're saying it's a yes for you.
It is a yes for me. It is an absolute yes for me. That is how badly the Biden-Harris team have prosecuted their job.
But the whole point you seem to be making was that January 6th and that kind of attack on democracy is bigger than any policy.
I am seeing so many attacks on democracy that eclipse January 6th.
Ding!
So I want to
ask
if you want to know what those are, I'm happy.
Yes! Now you can watch that whole interview because there's, the first 3 minutes of it, them going through how terrible Trump was in January 6th, blah, 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 blah. This guy testified against him and is still going to vote for Trump because the current administration is so bad. Oh, shoot. Okay, there's another article in here. Apparently, Kamala Harris's husband, Doug Emhoff, not only did he once sleep with a nanny and got the nanny pregnant when this was before he was married to Kamala, got the nanny pregnant, but also now apparently he slapped an ex-girlfriend in public, and everyone's making Doug Emhoff out to be the new gentle face of masculinity, a new type of a masculinity that's you could support women. Yeah, he fucked the nanny, got her pregnant, and slapped his girlfriend in public in the past. Yeah, I pray that he's not slapping any more women related to him anymore. That's all I got to say. All right. Now, the main topic I was going to do is Jack Smith today because Jack Smith dropped this, or they've released this massive brief detailing evidence against Trump. The brief that this is so shitty the way they did this. This is completely unprecedented. It probably is going to get the case thrown out in the appeal process immediately. But Judge Tanya Chutkan released Wednesday a redacted version of Special Counsel Jack Smith's lengthy brief detailing evidence in the election interference against former President Donald Trump. Chutkan wrote, "There is no support for Trump's attorney's accusations that the government is driven by bad faith partisan bias." Ordering Smith's 165-page brief on presidential immunity to be filed on the public docket. For weeks, Trump's attorneys have argued Smith should not be allowed to file a motion, which they claim would do little more than allow prosecutors to make their case in the court of public opinion ahead of the election. I think this it definitely destroys the potential jury pool if you put this shit out. These accusations, for which defendant, this is a quote, "These accusations for which defendant provides no support continue in a pattern of defense filings focusing on political rhetoric rather than addressing the legal issues at hand," Chutkan wrote. "Not only is that focus unresponsive and unhelpful to the court, but it is also unbefitting of experienced defense counsel and undermining of the judicial proceedings in this case." Oh, gee, this case that you're pulling up bullshit out of thin air? Anyway, the Supreme Court held in July that former presidents are immune from prosecutions for official acts taken in office. Smith's brief denies that the ruling covers the allegations in his superseding indictment against Trump. Quote, "Although the defendant was the incumbent president during the charged conspiracies, his scheme was fundamentally a private one," prosecutors wrote. Working with a team of private co-conspirators, the defendant acted as a candidate when he pursued multiple criminal means to disrupt through fraud and deceit the government function by which votes are collected and counted, a function in which the defendant, as president, had no official role. Really? I don't know about that. The first 85 pages of the filing, which is divided into 4 parts, lay out evidence Smith would present at trial. Prosecutors followed the evidence with an analysis of the legal principles behind presidential immunity and how it applies to Trump's conduct, ultimately urging Chutkan to find Trump is subject to trial. This goes on, but I think the big one here, where's the one that they really been talking about? I don't know if it's in this article. Anyway, the filing lists a number of private conversations between Trump and former Vice President Mike Pence, including a December 21st lunch conversation where Pence allegedly encouraged Trump to look at the election not as a loss, just an intermission. Where the two were acting in private capacities as running mates, prosecutors argued their conversations are unofficial. So they're trying to say that this is an unofficial conversation, so it's admissible. Because if it were an official communication between the president and vice president, it would be inadmissible. When Trump, they're saying when Trump interacted with Pence regarding his official role as the president of the Senate, prosecutors argue the presumption of immunity can be overcome because the discussions focused only on his discrete duties in presiding over the certification proceeding, a process in which the executive branch by design plays no direct role. Because the vice president's role is and always has been ministerial rather than substantive or discretionary, it is difficult to imagine an occasion in which the president would have any valid reason to try to influence it, prosecutors wrote. As such, criminalizing a president's effort to affect the vice president's role as the president of the Senate overseeing the certification of the Electoral College results would not jeopardize an executive branch function or authority. So that's their reason, that Jack Smith's reasoning. Trump campaign slammed the filing as election interference. The release of the brief following Tim Walz's disastrous debate performance is another obvious attempt by the Harris-Biden regime to undermine American democracy and interfere in this election, Trump campaign communication director Stephen Chung said in a statement. And then Trump, in his very calm and collected, normal way of presenting things on both Truth Social and X, quote, deranged Jack Smith and Washington, D.C. radical Democrats are hell-bent on weaponizing the justice system in an attempt to cling to power. Oh, Chung said that. Oh, wow. He said, that's a quote from Stephen Chung? I thought that was from Trump. President Trump is dominating and the radical Democrats throughout the deep state are freaking out. This entire case is a partisan, unconstitutional witch hunt that should be dismissed entirely, together with all of the remaining Democratic hoaxes. Okay, that's I wasn't expecting that from Stephen Chung. So there's a couple more articles on this. I encourage you all, though, to let me see if I can find Robert Guevara, because he's going to be talking about this today on his show. Let me just do this real quick. Or Gouveia. I don't know how you say his last name. Is it Gouveia? Let me go to my subscriptions here because I'll put a link to his. Oh wait, no, I need my subscriptions. There we go. He's doing members only right now. He has one scheduled later today though. Hang on here. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Mm-hmm. Well, apparently, I'll put you. Oh, this one just finished. I'm going to put a link to he went through the entire brief today, and I really want you to see it. So that will be
senior advisor.
There we go. That'll be in the links today, along with everything else. In fact, let me go ahead and drop those links in the chat, and then I got to get out of here. But I do want to thank you guys for being here today. I'm here Monday through Friday. Obviously on Friday, though, which is the Friday free-for-all. If you want to send me memes or videos or whatever you want me to react to, you can send those through X or through email, pdognight@gmail.com. And tomorrow is Friday Q&A day. So if you've never been here for a Friday Q&A, you know that's a fun day. So here come the links. Click, copy, and here we go. Today's links are now in the chat. You guys, you have a wonderful freaking day. My name is Pete Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Hey, this is P Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.
Senior Advisor